We will now be guided through a workshop on Mindfulness by Richmond Foundation Malta, a not-for-profit organisation working in the area of mental health in the community. So, I'm joined in the studio by Nicola Camilleri. Hi, welcome,
Hi.
Nicola.
Thank you.
So, Nicola has been working for the past year and a half at the Richmond Foundation. Nicola has a Bachelor of Honours degree in psychology and is now reading for a Masters of Science in Health Psychology. She works as a mental health recovery officer within one of the 5 hostels of the Richmond Foundation.
Hi.
Welcome, Nicola. And we have Nicky Gambin here, who is one of our interns who volunteered to take part in this workshop. Nicola, I'll leave it in your hands for now.
So, thank you. Today I'll be talking a bit about mindfulness. It is a term which we might have heard and we might have not heard. It is relatively a new technique which we use. It is basically us being aware of what we are feeling, our emotions, and the thoughts that are currently going through in our mind. What's great about this is that it can be changed for all ages, so children, adults, adolescents. So it really is a technique that is good for everyone. In this technique, we focus on the present moment, so we help ourselves relax, focus on our emotions, our thoughts, what we are feeling, and everything that is around us. Mm-hmm. And through this, we can really help ourselves be aware and focused and have better attention. So if we are struggling, if we are feeling anxious, for example, we take a step back and we practice some mindful techniques which help us relax better. Today I prepared a few exercises that we can briefly go through. They are very, very simple exercises which really do not take much of our time, but they can be really beneficial towards our own health. So the first exercise that I thought of was a breathing technique. I personally do this very often, especially I like to start my day with this breathing technique. So I take 2 to 5 minutes of my time. I sit back in my chair. I have an open position, so my back is straight and my shoulders are wide apart, and my hands are on my thighs. And I take...
Nicky is demonstrating.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to guide you, Nicky. I'm going to count from 1 to 4, and we will inhale. And then I will count from backwards, 4 backwards, and we will exhale. And we will do this 4 times. In the meantime, close your eyes.
Nicola, shall we invite the public to do it with us then?
Yes,
so,
of course.
Please follow the instructions that Nicola is saying, and we can all do these exercises together. So,
yes.
Go ahead.
So, I invite you, Nicky, to close your eyes, take a deep breath, focus on your breathing. Do not try to change the rhythm of your breathing, just focus on it and clear your mind. And I'm going to start counting. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and now we're going to exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. When you're ready, open your eyes slowly. Okay. How did that make you feel?
It's really centering, and like you were saying, it's like you switch off everything and your mind just stops, and you're just focusing on your breathing. And since that's the one thing you need to focus on, it like really hones in, and you can block out everything outside.
Yes, that's the idea, in fact.
It's very basic, the breath,
yes.
And yet we tend to forget about it.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. We go through our day, and sometimes we don't even realize that our breathing is really fast. So even just taking a few minutes just to do this at the beginning or end of your day can be really helpful. Even if you're nervous for an exam, you have those butterflies before you go in. It helps me also before I sit for my exams. I sit down, take a few minutes, take a few seconds, and I really focus on my breathing, and it really helps calm me down and relaxes me. So, as you said, it is something really simple, but it can actually really help center yourself. Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next exercise.
Yes, the next exercise is what I call the 5 senses. So I'll be guiding Nicky through 5 questions where I will ask him to list 5 things related to the senses. So if you want, we can start. Can you tell me 5 things that you can see?
Okay, so I can see some lights, tape on the floor, the platform, computers, monitors, screens. I think that was 5.
Yes, perfect. 4 things that you can feel.
Okay, so I can feel that my feet are a bit heavy because I've been on my legs all day. I can feel the cardigan on my skin. I can feel my hands on my jeans. And I can feel a little bit of back pain.
Okay. 3 things that you can hear.
Here, okay. So I can hear the whirling of the computers in the background. Some people just whispering in the background. And I can hear some typing with the keys.
Okay. And 2 things that you can smell.
So I can smell my mask. And I can smell the deodorant I had on in the morning.
Okay, and finally, 1 thing that you can taste.
So before the segment, I ate a gummy bear, and I had a red one, so it's a strawberry flavor.
Perfect. Okay, and how did this make you feel, this exercise?
I think, again, honing in, but in a different kind of way. And it really made me think of okay, I'm in the present moment and what's around me. And sometimes I think we go through life and we don't think about what we're actually seeing. We have tunnel vision. So it's kind of nice to just be in a room and be okay, I'm taking in the room. And it's reminding me of how I'm feeling in the room as well.
Exactly. The idea behind this exercise is to focus on the present moment and actually be aware of our surroundings and what is happening around us. Again, we go through so many things throughout the day that we kind of block everything out. And we can become so overwhelmed with our emotions that sometimes it's good, again, to take a step back and actually center yourself and really see what is happening around you. This technique also helps if someone is feeling very, very nervous or very anxious. I have actually tried it with friends of mine, and it has actually helped. I invite them to sit down, take a breather, and actually I start asking them to list these things down. And slowly, with each passing step, you can notice that they relax more and they feel more calm and more at ease. So it can be really helpful also.
So it's kind of getting away from your head and getting back to your body. And I think that helps in sort of, grounding to reality kind of, rather than being in the anxiety of our thoughts.
Another version that I've tried as well is doing this first thing in the morning when you wake up. So sometimes you get the instant reaction to grab your phone, which isn't the greatest. So sometimes I do this just to remind myself okay, I've woken up, and it's just switching you on for the day, I think, right?
Yes, exactly.
And is it something that you can do multiple times a day, or is it something that you do once, and how does it work?
I think it depends on the person and maybe how many times they feel they need to do it. If there is a day where they are feeling very overwhelmed with their emotions, then yes, why not go ahead? It can actually help calm them down. Personally, I do recommend that we do take a few minutes from our day and actually do practice some mindfulness techniques, because it really does help us focus and be aware of what's happening in the present moment.
And where does this exercise come from? Is it something that, I don't know, from psychology or from mindfulness techniques specifically? So
mindfulness is a relatively new field. It's a new discipline that is being practiced in relation to psychology. It is nowadays being practiced, implemented by professionals to help ground people more, especially people who suffer from anxiety. So yes, I would say that these mindfulness techniques kind of are a branch on their own in that regard.
Okay, we will keep on talking about mindfulness, but we can move on to the next exercise first,
Yes.
which is called body scan.
Body scan, yes. This is a very well-known technique of mindfulness, and it is actually kind of my favorite. So what we have to do is, again, we take a very comfortable position, make sure your back is straight and your shoulders are apart, and your hands are on your thighs. So now what we're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, clear your mind, okay? And I'm going to ask you again, so we do the breathing exercises. After that, I will be guiding you through literally your body. We're going to do a body scan together, and you're going to be aware of everything that is around you and everything that you might be feeling. Okay. So we're going to start with the breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to set your attention on your head and notice how your hair feels, the texture. After that, I want you to focus your attention on your ears. Maybe you're hearing a sound. Are your ears maybe a bit tense? If so, try and relax them. From there, I want you to focus your attention on your eyes, your cheeks, and your jaw. Maybe your jaw's clenched. Maybe your eyes are pressed against one another. Try and relax them as much as possible. From this, we are going to move our attention towards our neck. Notice how your neck is. Is it tense? Are you clenching your shoulders up? If so, try and relax them as much as possible. The same goes for your shoulders. Notice how your shoulders are placed. Try and relax yourself in the position you are in. And slowly move your attention towards your arms and hands. How do your hands feel? What is under them? What does the texture feel like? Are your hands clenched? Try and relax your hands and put your fingers far apart as possible. Try and relax your arms. Then we're going towards the stomach. How does your stomach feel? Are you tensed up over there? If so, try and relax it. And now we're going to move towards our knees and feet. How do your feet feel on the floor? How are your knees? Do they feel sore? Are they tired? Are they heavy? Try and relax them as much as possible. And try and really focus your attention on what you are feeling and how they feel. When you are ready, slowly draw your attention towards your body and slowly open your eyes. Okay. How did that make you feel?
It's weird to like pinpoint individual like parts of the body. For example, I don't know what tense ears feels like, honestly. But then, like, for example, I hold a lot of tension in my shoulder. So when we hit the shoulders, I'm like, ooh, I can really feel it. And I don't know, I had this weird sensation where, like, I don't know if it's because we're going from head to toe, but it's like a grounding sensation where it's like I can feel the energy of my body going all the way down and just like sinking into the floor. Is that normal?
Yes, that is very good. In fact, like what you're saying, again, we go through so many things throughout the day that we don't even realize that maybe we're really tensed up or our position on the chair. And sometimes just doing something as simple as this, even if you don't go through the whole body scan, but you're feeling your shoulder or your upper body really tense, taking some time to reflect on how everything is feeling, how your muscles are feeling, and actually working on making yourself in a more relaxed and open position can really, really help you. And without us knowing, if we're tense, automatically that might reflect how we are feeling. So if I'm tense like this, it could be I'm maybe having a bad day. So noticing these little things can really, really help us to change our mood for the better.
Yes. We have our last exercise, right?
Yes.
So we have mindful writing. So
Yes.
guide us through what this is.
So basically, I invited Nicky to try this exercise throughout this week. Mindful writing is basically you just take a piece of paper, a document, whatever you feel comfortable with, and you write whatever you are feeling, whatever you are thinking. So you literally just express all your emotions. And if you have nothing going through your mind at that point in time, it is completely normal. And you can literally write, I have nothing going through my mind. The point of this exercise is to actually be aware of what we are thinking, and we will be actually surprised how many emotions and how many things we are holding in. And when we write it down, it can be freeing in a way. So I invited Nicky to write his experience, and with each sentence, he had to take a breath. So I don't know if you would like to share what you'd like.
So I actually tried to incorporate this into the festival weekend. So this is capturing a little moment that's happened over the last 3 days. I'm sorry in advance if this doesn't make sense, but this is what my brain was thinking.
Perhaps it shouldn't make sense.
It should make sense to him.
Yes,
and even if it doesn't, it's okay.
Okay. Stop stressing. Calm down. Breathe. There's no use stressing about it. It is only going to make you sick. It is okay. There is nothing you can do about it, so just let it go. Find peace. Nothing, 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 nothing. You're tired? Yes, true. Things pop up last minute that you cannot control. Don't be so hard on yourself. If a blackout didn't ruin the festival, then neither will a small mistake. Just let it go and continue with the program. That's the shortest extract.
What do you think of this, Nicola? What do you make of this?
Well, I think he was experiencing a lot of emotions. From what I can tell, he seemed to be very stressed throughout this weekend. However, how was this exercise for you?
I think I really needed it.
Okay, that's
for
good.
those of you at home watching, a live program is very stressful. Literally what I did is I found a corner in the back and I just took a moment to just write my thoughts. And I've actually tried doing this before, but what I didn't try is taking a breath after every sentence. And I think that really helped slow me down because I was getting very stressed and worked up and really your breath shortens. And I was finding okay, it sort of matches the breathing exercise we had in the beginning and marries them together. And it was just it allowed me to release all the emotions that I was feeling and just start anew. And I was able to get back into work, not having that negative energy.
Exactly. It's very, very good. That is actually the aim of this exercise, for us to take a step back and really, really capture our emotions and be aware of them.
I find myself that when there's a lot of things to do, our brain is going really, really fast. Sometimes even doing that and stopping, you kind of feel guilty for not doing whatever you have to do, but actually stopping and breathing and being into our body. So how can we fight that and not feel guilty that we are wasting 5 minutes?
Time.
Exactly. So
of course, I can imagine it is normal to feel guilty, especially if you have a really busy day and you're just taking 5 minutes to breathe or to write something. But if you are not feeling okay, or if you're very overwhelmed with your emotions, it will be harder for you to continue with your day. So it is okay to take those 5 minutes and center yourself and say, okay, now I can continue. Because chances are you'd be more productive once you are aware and you have centered yourself and grounded yourself, rather than if you're still all over the place and you have a lot of thoughts and you're racing against time.
I think we need to keep that in mind. We have some audience questions. Okay, so first of all, is there science or research behind these exercises?
Yes, they have. There is still actually research being done against mindfulness. It is relatively a new technique which came up recently. So research is still being done. However, in Malta, I must say, it actually hasn't picked up as much as it has overseas. However, it is slowly picking up, even in schools and with kids and with organizations and businesses. It is slowly picking up. Yes.
Okay, so we have another question from the audience. How can feeling more relaxed help us on our daily life?
Okay, so if we are very tense and very stressed, chances are we are feeling very overwhelmed with things that are going on. So if we are feeling overwhelmed, we might not give our 100%. So if we are more relaxed and more calm and in charge of our emotions, we can be more productive. And it can actually help us to carry out things in the right way and the way they should be.
Okay, another question. Why is stress bad for us then?
Okay. I understand that some people might find stress as a motivator to work, which is fine, yes. However, there is also a limit. We all do have our limits. So me included, I can work under pressure. However, I do have a limit also. So even though stress can be good in a way, it is important to take care of yourself and know where your limit is. So know where you can draw the line and say, okay, this is still where I can go. I cannot go anymore because it's going to harm me then. And if you are harmed in a way, you won't be able to take after yourself, to look after yourself.
And what are some signals of that we have reached a certain point where we have to stop and be mindful?
Okay, so if we're feeling very tired, we have lost our appetite, we don't have time to eat, we're constantly racing against time, going from one thing to the next. Maybe it can affect us physically with migraines. There are many things that can signify that we are really stressed, and we need to take a step back. So, yeah, so...
In fact, that was another one of our questions. Can stress affect our physical health? And
yes.
You're just saying...
It can. I am not very qualified in the physical health aspect, more in the mental health. However, there has been research suggesting that stress can affect us physically. Yes.
Okay, we have another question. Do you need to find a quiet place before starting these exercises?
Ideally, yes. A quiet place which can also be your safe space. So even if your bedroom is your safe space, that is fine. The reason why we should find a quiet place is so that we can really focus on ourselves, because if we're around other people, chances are we will focus on what's going on with them rather than give importance to us. So yes, I do suggest that you try and find a quiet place.
So if you are at work, for example, with maybe some colleagues or some people, what do you suggest? And if you work maybe in an office with other people, what do you suggest doing?
Okay. So I would suggest maybe finding an empty room, if it's possible. If not, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can go out of the building and find a little spot, maybe next to some greenery. It might be helpful.
I know it's going to sound weird, but I have done mindfulness in the bathroom.
So I was going to suggest that.
It sounds odd,
that was my first thought. In fact.
Yes.
Like for me, even the fact of like closing the door and just like sitting with yourself, and maybe a little bit of the experience that I had with the writing exercise. Unfortunately, because the studio, it's a bit difficult to find a safe space, and there were people like seeing me write, and they were like, "What are you doing?" Not to be rude, but it just looks curious. But I think at that moment, it's just like making sure it's okay for you to take a moment for yourself, like you were saying before. Like you don't need to feel guilty about taking that moment, and like if you need 5 minutes, you can very easily say like, guys, I need to step outside for a breath of fresh air, maybe, sort of.
Yes.
Yes,
So how does this relate to children? How is it more adapted for adults, or can children do all this and be guided by adults? What is your...
Okay, so mindfulness can be adapted for both children and adults and adolescents, just so it's for any age, really. What is ideal is that if the children are younger, obviously, I do recommend that maybe the adults can guide them through certain exercises, or maybe their teachers or caregivers. However, there are children, when they do reach a certain age, some exercises can be maybe part of their routine, and it might come easy for them to practice them. So yes.
So at the beginning, obviously, you have to guide the children and
Yes.
sort of make them do it in a way, because obviously they don't know what it is. But maybe if they start feeling that it's helping them, they will want to actually do them. Okay.
Exactly.
So maybe we have time for one last question, just one last one. Okay, so do you think stress has become normalized in our work culture?
That's a very, very interesting question.
It is.
Again, I think I'll go back to what I pointed out, that some people have used stress as a motivator for them. So maybe in that way it has become normalized in our culture, especially in today's world. I mean, everything is really fast-paced, so we can easily find ourselves being stressed. Unfortunately, from my perspective, yes, I do think it has become normalized. However, what I do think we need to remember as individuals is how well we take care of ourselves despite the fact that we're stressed. I think that's the most important thing.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you,
Thank
Nicky.
you.
We've come to the end. Thank you for these tips of how we can apply mindfulness in our everyday lives. And in the meantime, we'll be back shortly. See you soon.